now we can put him all away. And the next tape we'll do will be Sony Videotape 12. And the feedback is coming from the monitor, this monitor that you're looking at. Now this is the CompuTemp. CompuTemp's very interesting. The CompuTemp gives you the temperature every minute of the day, alternating with the time. And then the CompuTemp remembers every temperature for every minute of the day. And then it will give you the high for the day and the low for the day, right here in your own home, not at the airport or anything like that. Oh, yes. And the low for the day, and the low for today was 33 degrees, and it occurred at 5:21 a.m. Now, the high for today is 44 degrees, and that occurred right now at 8:39 a.m. Hello folks, how you doing today? This is a chat with Glendora. Are you sure you're really up to this? It lasts for a whole hour. Well, I did something nice for somebody for a change. And that person said, "Oh, bless your heart." And I thought to myself, no, bless my brains. I don't have a heart. Listen, I was going to ask you folks, what department is it of the United States government that gives out the birth statistics? Somebody told me it was the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare. But I should think the department that would give out the birth statistics would be the Department of Labor. You read those signs and those advertisements that the telephone company puts out, dial a joke? I didn't know what that meant, but then I finally, well, I think it refers to some of the operators you get. But dial a joke is pretty good, though. I like it. And you see signs and ads in the newspapers for movies, and sometimes it says rated R, and sometimes don't you wonder if the R stands for rotten? Now George Tooks, folks, is he's our roving reporter, and he's out on a boat. He's going to take you on a boat cruise today. Isn't that nice? You're going on a 3-hour boat cruise, and he's going to tell you about it. And I think if we can reach him now, let's stand by. Come in, George Tooks, wherever you are.
Almost center of the screen, you'll see 2 sailboats, and they are really beautiful. Looks like they're having a race of some kind, and you can also see the water jetting up over the edge of the Columbia that we're on. Very shortly we're going to be taking the time to meet and to talk to Captain William. That's Captain William Stephan, folks, who is at the wheel, and they're using a lecture to demonstrate everything that is going on here. Now this has also been covered and copyright and everything else, all rights reserved by the firm. Different parts of This is the Gateway National Park cruise, folks, with Captain William Stephan at the wheel, and it's something that we hope that all of you will get involved with because it's really a delight being out here. There's a very brisk breeze that is coming in on us right now. The water is nice and beautiful, and it's really quite a day to be out here. And we hope you're having as much fun as we are. Very shortly, we're going to go to the helm, and we're going to talk to Captain Stephan and find out what his viewpoint is on this and how he likes doing this. So just stick with us, folks. This is George Tooks for Glendora. We're right now in the wheelhouse of the Columbia, and we're having a ball. This gentleman you see in front of me with the brains and the steering wheel in one hand is Captain William Stephan, and it is Captain Stephan who is responsible for providing us the direct locations and everything else for the tour. Captain Stephan, I want to thank you first for inviting us to be guests on the Columbia.
Oh, you're very welcome. We're glad to have you.
Well, it's certainly my pleasure, so I'm really having a wonderful time, and I know everybody else is too. I understand that you have been involved with, you have been captain of this vessel for a few years now.
Yeah, I've been down here for about 8 years now.
That's really great. That is fantastic. Do you still get as much of a kick out of what you're doing as you did 8 years ago?
Oh yeah, I like the outdoors, and it's fun being around boats.
That's wonderful. How about flying around, and you see that the ocean is getting a bit turbulent now, that the waves are really, it's really becoming choppy water. I should have brought my seasick pills with me. Right now you are seeing Bell Harbor, which is right here on the border, and look at the choppy waves as they're going up.
Boundary construction in 1664 needed from the Dutch king, ordering the removal of all restraints, a major victory for the forces of the fleet. However, this event was overshadowed by the English conquest of the land began in 1664. Long Island, Westchester, and Staten Island were combined as the county of Yorkshire and remained as such until 1683. At that time, the name Queens again appeared. At this time, the name covered an area including all of present-day Nassau County. The Queens settlements based their existence on agriculture, augmented by fishing and hunting.
We're now going to go topside and give you a bird's eye view of this beautiful cruise. We are now topside, and if you will look straight ahead, you'll see quite a few ships, or at least a couple now, that seem to be just resting from long days of work. Look over here at the wharf that we're now passing, and it must really be fascinating living so close to the water like this. I know it's something that I've always wanted to do myself. One of these days, when I learn how to swim, I will. We're now looking at Jamaica Bay, which is totally uninhabited except for birds. For those of you who would like to relocate, maybe you should check with your Chamber of Commerce. Further in the background, you can see the Manhattan skyline, and it's really beautiful and made more magnificent by the beautiful day that we're all enjoying out here. This is George Stooks, substituting for Glendora.
Great.
Right now we are looking at what seems to be a water skier who wasn't too successful. Well, better luck next time. I just hope that the Loch Ness Monster doesn't come out and give him a hand. Oh, here comes a boat. That's good. We're still in the water, folks, but
Well, now, folks, this is Glendora, and George Stooks is the roving reporter, and he's out on the Columbia. Is that the name of the boat, George?
yes, that's right, Glendora, the Columbia.
And you were out at this point. Where were you?
We were out by, I think it was around Far Rockaway,
Far Rockaway, yeah.
in that vicinity.
Yeah. Hey, that's keen. It's a beautiful trip, isn't it?
Yes, it certainly is. And the weather is so fantastic that we couldn't have chosen a better day to get out there.
What do you say we hear some music from the Country Brothers? Who belongs to the Country Brothers?
Well, the Country Brothers consist of Don Thursby and his guitar brother Jose, and Chet and Jerome Barnes, Ed Tooks, and myself, George Tooks.
Such a lot of world to see. We're at the same rainbows in, waiting around the bend. Huckleberry friend, Moon River, and me. sing. Rainbows here, waiting around the bend. My huckleberry friend, Moon River, and me. Moon, 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 moon river, yeah, yeah. Moon, oh, moon, 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 moon. Crossing, crossing you in style, yes I am, yes I am.
I write this song to you with the words that I feel. Deep in life's fantasy, oh, I've found a dream that is real. Oh, I found a dream come true, and I found it in you. I may not say the words just right, but you always seem to know just what I mean. And since you come along, you've shown me a world I'd never seen. Now my life is new because of you.
Hey, George Tooks, that was beautiful. Who was that singing?
That was, the lead was by Don Thursby,
Uh-huh.
and it was the rest of the Country Brothers singing in the background.
And who wrote that song?
Don Thursby wrote the music and lyrics,
He wrote both. Wow.
and we arranged it and added further instrumentation and voices.
Hey, well, listen, thanks a lot, George Tooks, and thanks for our trip aboard the Columbia. Where are we now?
Well, we're now returning to Brooklyn, and we're almost back to the basin again.
Everybody, a Chat with Glendora continues in its mad way, and right now we've brought into your homes a very prestigious gentleman. This is Mr. Duane Bogie, who is a vice president at NWA Advertising, and he is the top dog for the network television show, the Bell System Family Theater, and he's very pleased to be visiting with you.
One example, I'll give you one, was Arthur Miller's The Price, which we did with George C. Scott. Now, Mr. Hall didn't really think that that was a play that he really wanted to put on because it involved two brothers haggling at one another, and he didn't think that was the way brothers ought to behave. But yet he realized that it was a fine play, had great drama, was written by one of America's best playwrights, and that it deserved a television airing for the rest of the public, even though he personally may not have liked it.
Yeah.
But he felt it was worthwhile to do and had a quality aspect. And of course it won that year Best Show of the Year, Best Actor for George C. Scott, and Best Director for Fielder Cook. So, you know. So it couldn't, it did have a place on television. I think Hallmark has always felt that they didn't want things that were depressing. If there was tragedy involved, the end result would have to have an uplifting, inspirational kind of feel.
We need that.
Boy, we sure do. I wish there were more of it. But there is conflict in the world. There is human conflict, and you have to have it for good drama.
I certainly hope that the 20th century
Yeah.
at the end will
Right.
have an uplifting effect.
No, I think right now the writing that is always the key to good television. I think I would like to encourage more writers to write things that are inspirational and uplifting, because we could use it. We're constantly looking for things, and even in my new assignment, we're looking for things like that.
Now, you started as the person you were assigned...
I was like broadcast supervisor in the
I
early
see.
days, and then I directed some of the early Hallmark.
You did?
Yes, with Sarah Churchill. And then eventually worked into a producer's position and produced and co-produced with lots of good people like David Susskind, which we co-produced All Creatures, recently Caesar and Cleopatra with Alec Guinness,
Yes.
and Jean-Pierre Bougeot. Crown Matrimonial with Greer Garson, which I love. That's another favorite, and she is one of my all-time favorite actresses and persons.
She's a
And,
nice person.
Oh, she's a lovely person, and such a lady.
She is.
Yeah, lovely lady to work with.
She always
and,
looks it.
yeah,
And you
right.
always wonder.
And I'm looking for a
Now,
property
good.
for her right now. I'd love to have Greer Garson again on television, because her appearances are too far and few between. There are people like that.
Yeah.
Julie Harris, of course, is always... I think Julie Harris has done more Hallmark shows than any other actress, and then Judith Anderson, whom we adore. Yeah, she's done Lady Macbeth for us 3 times, and Cradle Song, and lots of other things.
Then I think you went from the producer to being the manager of the whole thing, didn't you?
Yes, right, and into the corporate end of an account, which includes the selection of the television properties and the hiring of the producers and the directors and selecting the scripts and working with the network. We work very closely with the network, because even though a sponsor or a producer might want to put something on, the network, you still have to have the network's approval.
Yep.
We have to preempt regular programming with specials. And so you owe, and the network does participate and help a great deal in the selection of material.
Fascinating work. I bet you loved every minute of it.
And I've worked very closely with Bill Stork at NBC, and because most of the Hallmark shows...
Does he deliver babies?
No, I don't know. I know he has some of his own, but but I don't think he delivers them. But we work with all of the networks, basically, but the Hallmark show has been for 25 seasons on NBC, but I've worked with similar men in similar capacities at all of the networks. And I do think there's an encouraging thing for the future, because I think Hallmark has been so successful and has won so many awards that other corporate advertisers, like AT&T,
Yeah.
certainly Xerox and Mobil and IBM have all, Eastman, have tried very hard to present to the public television that's really worthwhile, event television that does make a contribution, because it's such a powerful medium. It really is, and it gets to so many people and gets there so directly and so forcefully right in the home, that the power for good is there, and it's fun to have some of these major corporations. I know right now I'm working with AT&T in developing programs for their Bell System Family Theater. And their objectives are so high, they really are high-level objectives. And it's just fun to work with people who care about what is presented, what the public should have, not kind of control it, but trying to raise it up to a level that is accepted. I think recently things like Eleanor and Franklin, and through the bicentennial period, I know, well, for example, 3 Hallmark shows have just won Christopher Awards recently. The Rivalry, which was the Lincoln-Douglas debates. Valley Forge, Maxwell Anderson's story of that awful winter with George Washington. And The Troops, All Creatures Great and Small, which I mentioned earlier. All have worthwhile themes, and they're constructive, and yet they're entertaining, and they're dramatic.
Those were the 3 Christopher Awards that
we were just awarded, yes.
And you accepted those?
Yes,
did you?
right.
Yeah.
It
That
was
must
real
have been a
thrill. Yes, it
thrill.
is. It really is to have your work recognized. And
Yes.
and of course, over the years, the Hallmark show has won more Emmys than any other program that's ever existed. Maybe one of the reasons it's been on longer, but I do think they've been worthwhile endeavors and deserve their recognition. It's fun to be recognized for hard work and that area, and then the recognition goes to the set designers and the writers and the actors and the directors. It's not given, the awards are not given to Hallmark. They're given to the people that Hallmark selects to work for them, which is kind of nice, so that the individuals are really recognized, and that's a good thing.
And Duane Bogie, that was a good thing for Mr. Hall, too.
Oh, it was indeed, because I think the quality of the television was exactly what Mr. Hall wanted, because he wanted to reflect the quality of his products, and they've worked well together all these years. And I have hopes for the future of television, because there are people like Mr. Hall and his son Donald, who's now running the Hallmark Company, and people like Herb Schmertz at Mobile, the people at AT&T like Jack Holland, Martin Duffy, Ed Block, who are people who are concerned about presenting television that's worthy for the family, so that by the time you spend an hour or 2 hours or an evening with television, it's been a worthwhile experience. It doesn't have to be always educational, but it should have a worthwhile, constructive kind of inspirational feeling. Not everything, but there should be enough of it so that you can be selective. And I think there are good people in the creative end of it, directors like George Schaefer and Paul Bogart, and producers like David Susskind, who are concerned, who want to present good television. And there's enough of them around, so I think the future of television will be great. And who knows, the individual will probably be selecting his own programming in years to come through computers, and in his own home will have the capability of punching up the programming schedule for any particular evening, so that he can choose and select that kind of programming that he wants, whether it be opera or drama or ballet or comedy or what. And I think I really think it's a great time to be looking forward into television. It's not going to be the big vast wasteland that Newton Minow talked about years ago.
Yes. Well, this has been terrific. This is Duane Bogie. Thanks so much, Duane.
Well, thank you. I've had a wonderful time.
Well, so have we.
Yeah, great.
Duane Bogie on A Chat with Glendora, everybody. Wow, Duane Bogie seemed to know everybody. There wasn't a famous name in theater that he just doesn't know. What a wonderful job. What a wonderful life. Well, folks, the United States Senate has agreed to an amendment that increases tax benefits for persons who, because of a job transfer, must move to a new area. And that's just in time for O.J. Simpson. Hey, what'd you think about the Russians' latest accomplishment in space? It came just about a year after the Soyuz 2. Remember the Soyuz 2? Did you ever figure out why they called it the Soyuz 2? Well, I think it's because when the cosmonauts got back to Russia, everybody said, I saw you 2 on television. And you remember when they parted in space, the Russians went one way and the Americans went the other way? Do you think that the Russians said to the Americans, goodbye? Or do you think they said, yank, go home? Hey, what do you think about the Viking spacecraft? Boy, that's become pretty famous. Yeah, now that it's back to Earth, I think probably it will run for the United States Senate, too. A Chat with Glendora will be continuing, if you can stand it. AV 3400, rewinding Sony Videotape 12. And we transferred this to 8mm on April the 29th, 1990, Sunday, 7:30 p.m.
Yeah, right. And we serve a very liquor wine, which is...
Did he have a drink first?
Well, I tell you, my impression is of a very modest person in the way he eats and the way he drinks. He just had a glass of wine through the whole meal.
Didn't have a drink first? Didn't have a martini?
No.
Didn't ask for peanut butter to go on the prosciutto?
No, it didn't. It didn't.
That is funny. We have to take a break. We have Ralph Nader coming up. I want to thank you for being here and joining us. Benito. What's your last name? Her eyes gasconade and her gowns parade as stiff as a brigade. The hard and braying light is zebraed black and white. It will take away the slight and free. Tinge of the mouth organ sound, oyster stone.
Hi there, everybody. How are you today? Just miserable, right?
This is Glendora for Veja. Do you have to watch your cholesterol? Do you have to watch your calories? Then here's exactly what you've been waiting for. Delicious Veja. Veja, virtually no cholesterol, folks. Veja, half the calories of a regular hot dog. Veja, high in protein, and Veja, no animal fat. Get your tasty Veja at
Randall, you know, before we saw this
film, to see people, you know, who like it.
You've done very well. You in cash, and you'll also receive a one-year subscription to Us Magazine. Congratulations.
We got some gifts for you back there. Thanks, Margot.
I won?
Yes.
I won. Oh, my God.
I didn't know I won. Why did you run off the stage?
I got no idea I won.
You won by $100. Theater.
My husband runs
Vacation. Sail to the colorful Caribbean in luxury. Sumptuous cuisine and dazzling entertainment await you from Princess Cruises.
Yes.
It's a Caribbean delight worth $10,600.
Well, you only have 1 minute to get it, Peter. So I'd suggest that if you have trouble with a particular catchphrase, pass it, go on to something else. You can always come back to it.
Right.
Are you ready, sir?
Yes, I am.
All right, your time starts when you call your first letter. Good luck.
M.
M, the middle one.
Even to feel pity. You see, for Betty Lou, her moment of glory is already over. The fickle public spotlight has moved on, leaving her with hopeless dreams of making it big in Hollywood.
I wonder how you managed to have those fantasies of Marilyn Monroe and everything else living here.
I knew she was an orphan also, and I've always, my mind felt very sorry. I didn't know her, you know, but I felt very sorry.